We're back with another video. On today, we're going to discuss God's comfort once more, but we're going to discuss why God is the best one to give us comfort. We're still back in Isaiah 40. We're going to go down to verse 12, and I'm going to read, and it says, "Who else has held the oceans in his hand? Who has measured off the heavens with his fingers? Who else knows the weight of the earth, or has weighted the mountains and hills on a scale?" Verse 13, "Who is able to advise the Spirit of the Lord? Who knows enough to give him advice or teach him? Has the Lord ever needed anyone's advice? Does he need instruction about what is good? Does he need someone to teach him what is right or show him the path of justice?" So, in the last video, we talked about how God was wanting to comfort his people, comfort the people of Jerusalem because they had been sinning, but God was bringing them out to give them comfort. And he used Isaiah to prophesy and write to them of how God was going to comfort them. But now Isaiah moves to this point of his writing that shows that there is no equal to God. Like he talks about here in verse 12, who has held the oceans in his hands? So that's why in this video, I want to concentrate on God is the best one to give us comfort, because who has held the oceans in their hands? Like it says here, who has consulted God about his spirit? Who has taught him about what is good? So when we think about comfort, God is the best place for us, because I know we talk about resting and relaxation, and we even talk about going to get comfort food when we're stressed out, or comfort food when we're going through something. But God is the best one to give us comfort. I want to read a little bit more. Isaiah says this in verse 15. He says, "No, for all the nations of the world are but a drop in a bucket. They are nothing more than dust on the scales. He picks up the whole earth as though it was a grain of sand. All the wood in Lebanon's forest, all the Lebanon's animals will not be enough to make a burnt offering worthy to God. The nations of the whole world are worth nothing to him. In his eyes, they count for less than nothing, mere emptiness." So I want to concentrate on that right there, because some people might read this and say, well, I thought God cared about me. I thought God was a caring God. But Isaiah is writing in the context of nothing can compare to him. His intelligence, his wisdom, the Bible talks about his thoughts is higher than our thoughts. So, with it saying that the nations of the world are worth nothing to him, meaning that we cannot compare to him with his power, like I said, or his wisdom. Let's continue to read. In verse 18, it says, "To whom can you compare God? What image can you find to resemble him? Can he be compared to an idol formed in mold, overlaid with gold, or decorated with silver chains? Or if people are too poor for that, they might least choose wood that won't decay, and a skillful craftsman to carve an image that won't fall down." So in these times, they would craft these idols. And Isaiah is taking a bold statement and saying that if you take it and form it, overlay it with gold with silver chains, that still doesn't compare to God. Even if you're too poor for that, even if you get wool and wood and make your idol, God still doesn't compare. Even if you make it not to fall, this still doesn't compare to God, because we know in the Old Testament the Israelites had fallen into different cultures and they were starting to worship idols. So Isaiah takes this point and says that still you can make all the idols, you can do whatever you want to those idols, and even if they don't fall, they don't compare to God. So I want to go down here, almost here to the end on 28. And he says this. He says, "Have you heard? have you never understood? The Lord is everlasting God, is the everlasting God, the creator of all the earth. He never grows weak or weary. No one can measure the depths of his understanding. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Even youths will become weak and tired, and young men will fall in exhaustion. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. So that should really encourage us. That should comfort us because Isaiah, like I said in the last video, went through and talked about comfort. Now he's talking about how nothing can compare to God. Now, at the end, he's talking about if we just trust God, hang in there with him, that we will gain new strength. I didn't go over the section. If you want to go read it, it also says that, the flowers will fade, the grass will wither, but the word of the Lord lasts forever. So he's letting the people know that if they just stay with the Lord, stay with his word, they will regain new strength, even when things all fade away. We can still trust and stand with God. I hope that this word blessed you. On the next video, I will talk about the testimony that I talked about in the first video. So please like, please share, and subscribe. Don't so you won't miss that video of the testimony that I was talking about. So I hope this word blessed you, and I will see y'all next time.